Queen Marchesa versus Ghave, Guru of Spores. Couple of lands in hand along with Devour Flesh. That might get rid of a mana dork for our opponent. Yeah, we'll keep that. Worst case scenario, we just have to Toxic Deluge before we might like to, but have to assume that Ghave, Guru of Spores, it being such a mana hungry deck, I have to assume that they'll get into mana dorks fairly early in the game, but they're not doing thus far. We'll just go for the Isolated Chapel. We can hold up that Devour Flesh. Our opponent plumps for a tap land on turn 1. Ghave, Guru of Spores is a Abzan commander, 5 mana for a 0/0, but it enters with 5 +1/+1 counters on it. 1 and remove a counter from a creature is a Saproling token. And then 1 and sack a creature is putting a +1/+1 counter onto a target creature. Priest of Titania is precisely the type of card we'd like to devour flesh. I'm not too sure if our opponent is going to be running too many elves, but there's a lot of mana dorks that just so happen to be elves, so it's good to get Priest of Titania off the field. Now what we could do here, of course, is go for a Vindicate onto our opponent's land, but I don't really fancy going for that. What I'm instead going to do is Demonic Tutor. We could go for Sol Ring, but our opponent is in the colours that could get rid of a Sol Ring, so I'm just going to play it safe and go for Command Tower. Yeah, I'd like to go for Sol Ring there, because then we could go in for Queen Marchesa, or Marchesa, however you say it. I've been struggling with this since she came out. I thought it was Marchesa, then heard everyone saying it was Marchesa, and there's another elf from our opponent. This will tap for Abzan eventually, when they get more black and white permanents out. Yeah, I thought it was Marchesa at first, then heard everyone calling her Marchesa, and then have since realised that it must be a play on the word Marquis, as in, I think that's, is it a Spanish queen, a Marquis? Some kind of European, member of royalty anyway. I assume that's what she is, a Marquis. Yeah, but I'm going to plump for Queen Marchesa if I remember to call her that. Our opponent has now got enough mana for Mirari's Wake. I was expecting Ghave, Guru of Spores there. Why don't we just go in for Vindicate onto Mirari's Wake? We really don't want that sticking around. And then we can go for Duress onto our opponent. And we'll get rid of that doubling season. What else do we have? Loyal Guardian, Archangel of Thune, and Marchesa the Unhallowed. So if you didn't think it was a mana intensive deck before, now you certainly know it. Not going to swing in here because our opponent can just swing in with the Bloom Tender if they choose to. We will go in next turn most likely though, thanks to Lingering Souls being able to hold up blockers for us. And yeah, they're just going for Ghave there. I think in that case, I think I would just like to get down Hero's Downfall, because Bloom Tender will give them 3 mana upon tap, as long as Ghave, Guru of Spores stays around. So we're just going to go for that. And they can't create a Saproling in response, of course. Yeah, we'll just pass the turn like that. And then we do, of course, get a card draw from the Monarchy. We'll go over Queen Marchesa very quickly. See, did it again. Marchesa. I don't actually know how you pronounce her. She is Mardu, 4 mana, 3/3 Death Touch with haste. When she enters, you become the Monarch. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the Monarch, you get a 1/1 black assassin token with Death Touch and haste. The Monarch token is something that sits in the command zone, so your opponents can't interact with it or remove it. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, its controller becomes the Monarch. At the beginning of your end step, draw a card. That is, of course, if you are the monarch. Okay, and our opponent goes in for a Ghave Guru of Spores. I'd be half tempted to go for Toxic Deluge and really put them out of reach of Ghave after this. Or we could just go in for Obnixilis, actually. Yeah, why don't we go for that? That way we at least get to keep our commander line around. It's my experience with Ghave. You want to play Ghave when you can at least have some mana held up, and then throw out some Saprolings or something like that. Throw +1/+1 counters around. Because if he's removed, then you want to be able to at least get something out of him entering the field. And let's just refresh our memory, see what our opponent has in hand. Yeah, there's an Archangel of Thune, a Loyal Guardian. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. They do, of course, not control their commander. Now, what they could do... the Ghave now costs how much? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, not likely that they will get Ghave out next turn, but if they do, then before combat, that will be a +1/+1 counter on everything. Let's see. We definitely want to play a land, and we definitely want to draw a card. Okay, get into Godless Shrine. 3, 4, 5, 6. We could Arena Rector and then play and equip Skull Clamp. I don't mind the idea of getting rid of that Archangel of Thune though from their hand. So why don't we go for that? Oh, Revelark is not great either. When it leaves the battlefield, return 2 target creature cards with power 2 or less. That means they would get back Priest of Titania. I'm going to have to go for Revelark there, I think. And then we can get rid of everything but those 2 cards from the reveal zone. And then why don't we go in for Arena Rector. And that way our opponent will think twice about swinging into us. We'll get down the Skull Clamp now as well. And then again, not going to swing in with Queen Marchesa. We are just concentrating on keeping control of this game thus far. They need 3 black mana to get down Marchesa, which I don't think they have access to. They would have access to that extra black mana had we not have gotten rid of Ghave Guru of Spores. But as it stands right now, they're just going to have to go for Archangel of Thune. They're holding on their upkeep, which is curious. I don't see that there's anything they can do on their upkeep. Okay, that's never seen that card before. And then Cross and Verge is 2 tap and sack. Search your library for a forest and a plains, put them in tapped. Okay, down comes Shriekmaw. Unless they're trying to do something clever and kill their own creature, they're actually going to have to kill our Arena Rector here. Which we are fine with. And they are, I see, so they're playing the Shriekmaw just so that they can get black mana off the Bloom Tender. No, but they had to spend black mana to get Shriekmaw down. Yeah, so I'm not sure what their plan is there. We will certainly exile the Arena Rector. And what do we want to go for? I think we go for my favourite Planeswalker in Elspeth Sun's Champion. Get a lot of chump blockers out with that, and it is a good means of getting back the monarchy if our opponent just so happens to wrestle it away from us. Which they might do because that Loyal Guardian has Trample, which I've only just realised. I don't think we would have played things out any differently had I have realised that. And down comes Archangel of Thune. We may be in board wipe territory here. Our opponent can swing in with the aim of getting the monarchy off us, but we will get a Death Touch token. And I won't block thanks to the trample. So we'll have 2 Death Touches coming in and we'd be able to go wide on our opponent with 2 creatures anyway. So if they swing in here and get the monarchy off us, I will swing back, grab back the monarch token, and then wipe the board with Toxic Deluge. And then we have 2 planeswalkers in play that we can mess around with. No, they're just going after Ob Nixilis. We can block and keep Ob Nixilis alive, which I don't mind, especially if we're going for Toxic Deluge. Yeah, I think we block there. That way we can keep our advantage. And then if our opponent, this way, if our opponent does wrestle the monarchy off us, we can just play Queen Marchesa and get the monarchy back. We don't really have to worry about getting damage in on our opponent. In comes Stoneforge Mystic. Not sure there's anything we actually care about grabbing with Stoneforge Mystic. Let me see what we want to draw with Ob Nixilis. There's Painful Truths. And Elspeth can't destroy Archangel of Thune, so I think we just go in for the Toxic Deluge. That will be 4 life we dump into that. That will get rid of our opponent's Mana Dork as well. And then that always enters tapped, so we'll just get that in. We'll play some tokens. They're good Skull Clamp fodder. And then we'll get down the Jitte for next turn. And why don't we just Skull Clamp something with the extra mana? Might as well draw a couple of cards for only 1 mana. Don't think we need an Austere Command. No, because we have Damnation. Austere Command would do more damage to us than it would to them. They only have a Marchesa in hand. Doesn't look like they're going to be getting down Ghave Guru of Spores anytime soon. Had they've managed to keep their Mirari's Wake around, this might be a very different game. Unfortunately for our opponent, Ghave Guru of Spores and all the cards that are good in Ghave Guru of Spores tend to be 5 mana and up. In my experience with that commander at least. Yeah, and our opponent sees that. They mustn't have drawn into anything all that decent. We had a good draw engine going with Skull Clamp and Elspeth Sun's Champion. While we were ticking up Elspeth Sun's Champion, we were just getting closer to that emblem. And yeah, most likely would have just gone in for Umezawa's Jitte shenanigans and tokens and card draw. Let's see what we would have gotten into. More lands, more removal, more tokens. Yeah, I think we had that game pretty well wrapped up there. Card draw is good, apparently. That's Queen Marchesa versus Ghave Guru of Spores. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.